We're live.
Lovely.
Good morning, happy Monday. I'm Nathan, and this is Getting on Track Together, and that is the train announcement. Brilliant timing, thank you very much for the announcement.
If you're sitting waiting for a train, it's going.
Yeah, we can hear it. So this is, we're here with Julia, and our special guest today, Naomi, and we are live in the community lounge at Runcorn Train Station. We've also got one of our friends, an audience member here with us today, Ian, in the background there.
Hello.
There you go. And Zach as well.
Like doing the schoolwork.
He doesn't like when he's shy now.
He's ready for bed, Zach. It's like, it's bedtime. It's 9:30.
So this morning, Monday morning, I hope you're feeling good out there, and if you're not, if you're having one of those mornings, then please remember it's temporary, you can change it round, and maybe this is what you needed to help you change it round, who knows. I want to say thank you to Avanti and to Laura Warwick, the community champion here, and all the team as well. Always look after us. Simon, of course.
I'll give Simon a mention.
Of course, yeah. He's the manager.
Yeah.
No brown nose in there.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. That's what you have to do in this trade, though.
Exactly.
So thank you to everybody. Like I said, we're here in the Runcorn Community Lounge, and in case you didn't know, we're here every Monday morning, pretty much, give or take, and we do a little talk show, Getting on Track Together, which is what this is called. And it's about people's lives, people's stories, what people are getting up to. We've got some amazing guests lined up. We've got an amazing guest we've had on. We've got an amazing guest today. And Naomi is from.
Yeah.
What are we going to?
With pets.
Oh yeah. So
not the whole thing.
No, you've brought a couple of friends with
Yes.
you, and we've already met them. And Julie did amazingly well. Fought some fears. But we've had some amazing guests on. Last week we had Mark Chakra Brennan, who you actually know of. You said.
Yeah.
Mark,
social media.
Brilliant.
Social media.
He's
That
great.
sushi. And the kimchi, kimchi was unbelievable.
That was really
Unbelievable.
Nice. That was really nice. So check that out. Episode 9. That was. Next week we have a guy called Pete Waterman on. He's
I've never heard of him.
No, you've never heard of him.
No.
He's got a hard act to follow after Naomi, I think, after today. And then the week after that, we've got Mark Rowland from Tributes on the Hill, which is a big festival you've passed Frodsham with. Yeah, so we've got some great guests coming up. Oh, we've got Colin.
Oh, Colin Havey as well, yeah.
He's a stand-up comic, isn't he?
From the Giggle Shack.
Yeah.
The Giggle Shack, the Giggle Shack man behind the Giggle Shack.
Yeah.
The man behind the Giggle Shack.
Has he's done like TV as well, isn't he? Apollo and stuff like that. I don't know what, but some stuff.
Has he told you that?
I don't know. That's what I said. I remember reading something. Maybe. Yes, I don't know. But anyway, yes, we've got this. This is what we do every Monday, give or take, like I said. So to start us off, what we tend to do on the Monday is we have a quote. So I forgot to say to you can bring your own quote along.
Oh.
So we have.
Google one if you want to.
Because we have a quote each.
I'll grab my phone.
Yeah, okay. Right, so Junior, what's yours then?
So I like this one because people always say, I was inspired, right?
Yeah.
So when they've done something, but this what this quote says is really good. It says inspiration does exist, but it must find you working, which I think is good because it does exist, but it must find you working. So you might have inspiration, but you got to do something about it. You've got to be doing something to be inspired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's.
Who was that by?
God only knows.
Did you make it up this morning? Because it's really good.
No. I found it this morning.
I'm surprised you didn't juxtapose it.
Yeah, juxtapose, yeah. One of your favourite words. Juxtapose. Love it.
Okay, so inspiration does exist, but it must find you working.
Yeah.
By Anonymous.
Yeah.
But it's a good quote.
It's a really good quote. It's an inspirational quote.
Okay, my quote for today is, and this is also anonymous, but it wasn't mine. Why try to fit in when you were born to stand out? Oh yeah, I like that one.
I like that.
Because today's theme is about being the odd one out.
Yeah.
So if you've got...
That's why I'm with it.
Well, no, all of us, we can all relate to that very much. Yeah. And with this, something that we have the men's group on a Thursday, and all of us have talked about, it's something that we can all understand, that we've all had times of feeling like the odd one out.
Oh yeah.
But then that doesn't necessarily mean that sometimes you feel like it makes you feel bad, doesn't it? But actually, it's not. I've realised now it's not bad to be the odd one out.
No,
because,
no.
To be that one that thinks differently to the crowd isn't a negative at all. But I understand. So if you guys if you've got some experiences of your own, you want to tell us about how you feel about being the odd one out. Maybe you've got memories of this. I'm going to tell you about when I was at school. Little story about that. So if you've got anything, please get in touch. You can comment or you can message us. You can also email us. And as we're going through the show, it's very much we want it to be about interacting as much as we can about you guys as well. So anything you want to ask Naomi, then please feel free. Nice questions would be great. Anything's good. So odd one out. Have you got anything about being a odd one out? So I can share my little.
Well, I'm an Evertonian, so we can't beat United 7-0, can we? So you know what I mean? I'm definitely the odd one out there. I'm absolutely gutted. I tell you, they're all over Facebook, innit? I remember being because I grew up although I was born in England, I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, and I remember moving to where I grew up in Tobago, and because I was like kind of fair skinned, I used to be called like Red Man or Englishman and stuff like that, because I probably didn't fit in straight away, like, you know what I mean. So, but it was just, and then there's just a name, but that made you, when you went to school, sit at the back of the class.
Yeah, you felt
because because I never wanted to sit at the front beat. I never wanted to be noticed, to be honest. When I was at school, I was made to like, I was hiding. I just didn't want to. I was one of them kids who was like, hand never went up for nothing. I was like, but I always got picked out because I was trying to hide. The teacher would go, Job. So that's it.
It's when I said to you this morning as well, didn't I, about an early memory I have of being the odd one out was when I started reception at my first school. So that's going back a while. And I started reception, but I can see it as clear as just in my head now. I can see it as it happened. So my mum and dad at the time, they ran a charity, and I didn't know, but on this day when I started school, I was to get a school dinner, like a assisted free school dinner thing, and no one had told me. So I got up to lunchtime, and basically I was at the front of the class, and the teacher's there, everyone's getting ready. She said, right, it's lunchtime, everybody, and I want you to go into your bags and get out your lunchbox or your dinner money. So I'm going in my bag, I'm hunting, I've got no lunchbox, I've got no dinner money. My heart was sinking, I'm thinking, what's going on? That feeling of, and I think now another way of feeling like the odd one out sometimes is financial, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That people feel like they're not able to, they haven't got this, that they feel they're supposed to have, or they can't go here because they haven't got enough money to go there and whatever. So there's all different kinds of ways of feeling like the odd one out, aren't there? But we'll come back to that after as well. Sorry, go on.
Have you got any stories?
We have, we've got it.
Have you got one of you? Yeah.
Oh, my whole life, to be honest. I've always felt different. Always felt different.
You brought in a pet snake.
I didn't have any animals growing up really. My mum and dad weren't too keen until I started bringing them home when I was a little bit older. And then I think they could see then the passion that I had for them. They loved animals, but not in the house. So I used to sneak them in. But odd one out again, going back to probably reception time and onwards. Quite often it's dance or sports and other things that you see growing up. Whereas I brought my pet snail in out the garden. And I was very, very different. And looking back now, it's sort of like, well, that was just me all along. But even now, I'll say and do things in social settings. I get very excited and say like anything to do with animals. And people are just looking at me and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to carry on being me. But pretty much the whole my wife
said that, when she was a kid, she used to bring stuff in in like snails, and she loves animals as well. She's a proper. She really loves animals. You know, really like. And she used to bring loads of bugs in and stuff and hide them in the house. You know what I mean? From her mum and all that. She used to hide them. Like wow.
There's something, but when you say about, it's like there's something feeling different, feeling like, it comes back to that thing again there, doesn't it? Because so many of us feel like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's, it's like you go through life and you have choices when you're growing up, don't you? And I said to you about when I was at high school, that was a really important time for me, because I got to the second year, and it was, I almost had to decide, you know, I don't want to be, I have to fit into this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us can relate to that in the sense of, but now it's like, no man, you know, just go with whatever. And that weirdness is a good thing, isn't it? You know, to be a bit weird, to be.
My quote probably would have been "stay weird." So I've looked at the phone for inspiration. I was like, actually, I've got in the living room. We've got a sign that says "stay weird." You know, and it's there, smack bang in the middle for the husband and the kids to see, and just be true to yourself. Like, it doesn't matter if you're different or the other.
No,
you know, just embrace it. But you don't realise that growing up.
No, when you're a kid,
not until you're older and you go, oh right, that's me, and I'm alright to be weird or different. But stay weird is what I've got up in the house.
Yeah, I love that very much.
I read the song about that.
Yeah.
I've got loads of songs to write.
What's that saying? Something about inspiring, but you've got to do the work. There's a quote. Today's 5-minute mood changer. We are trying to every week have a little, just a mood changer. Today's dancing. And if you want to have a little dance when we do our song after, get your mood up.
Can I show you my only move I've got, dance move?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right, it's this. Watch people, and if you can see, they probably can't see my feet, can you?
No, can't see.
Can't see.
Stand up on here.
I'll fall off.
No,
you can't do them there.
No, you've got to be your feet.
No.
I'll tell you what,
you're going to have to film me.
Okay, after we'll record Junior's move and then we'll put it on the page.
The one move I've got, I've been doing this since 1992.
I'm sure you're going to have
the only move.
Is it like dad dancing sort of move? Or?
It's worse than that.
You're building it up.
Yeah. It's worse than that.
But yeah, 5-minute mood change, you're dancing. Really, really good for you. So, you know, if you're on your own and you just, it's one of the ways that you can boost your happiness. If you're on your own in a house, don't worry about it, you know, be weird, stay weird, have a dance, boost yourself, feel great, honestly, energy you get from it. Even if you can't even stand up, you don't have to stand up, dancing, whatever you can move it, put some music on it, dance.
My wife made up a dance to us, one of my new songs I wrote, but I can't really do it I can't really see the lyrics on it because it's like only. Yeah, it's not child friendly, the lyrics. I know that, but exactly. So, but she made up a dancing Friday.
I don't want to go on the pop doing it,
honestly.
Oh, the pop?
Yeah, she did that.
I wonder where you're going with this. So, one of the things we're going to do today, we've got a song coming up, haven't we? And the song today is very much about, it's about love. It's about what's important in life, and about happiness, and it's not about buying something. You'll never get happiness from trying to, going down the route of
materialistic.
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I like the little things. I'm happy looking at like little birds or something when I'm out and about. I like buying things. Don't get me wrong. But it's only temporary, isn't it?
Yeah, very much.
Only temporary.
It doesn't scratch the itch, does it? Or like full. It's like there's something here, isn't there?
Yeah.
You've got to fill it really, and so most things don't really with stuff like that.
No.
There was I ran into a friend of mine yesterday. So there's this guy, and he said that I could tell people. So I wanted to. I was going to say his name, I don't realise now. I can't say his name.
No.
So basically, I met him last
John Smith, is it? John Smith, no.
John Doe. I met him a couple of years, the last year or the year before, and it was doing one of my talking table things. So sometimes I'll go out and I'll do a venue and I'll advertise it, go with the banner, and then just sit down at a table. And everybody wants to come in and talk my ear off or whatever, then feel free. I met this guy, he was an awesome guy, he's been through so much. And he'd had strokes and heart problems, and he'd ended up having to learn to walk again from scratch. And he's, I think he's either late 50s, 60s, something like that. And also he'd lost his wife as well. So he was going through, all this happened in such a short space of time. He'd had COVID, I think, as well. And he was in this position where he was willing to dig deep. So when I met him, he was pushing himself, he started to learn to walk, and then he was walking around his estate, and then he'd walk down to the park where we were, and bit by bit he was doing all this, right? And he's on his own personal, I still hate the word,
I know,
journey. He's on his own personal journey. It's because I saw it on X Factor, all those days watch TV, and they started, on my journey. So it took away the niceness of it. Anyway, so this guy, he's on his own journey. He's really determined. He's really determined. He just wants to get walking and enjoying, being out and stuff. And I saw him, and he was telling me about when he was walking back from the park, and he'd had a busy week, and he thinks he might have overdone it. But he said all of a sudden I was filled with these feelings of panic. He said I started worrying about things, about where I was going to go, how I was going to get back. I didn't remember whether I'd been at this point before. And he said the feeling started, he said, and I knew, he said, I didn't know what was going on, but he said I felt like I could stop, I could just cry. I could be a mess on the floor in the middle of the public, and whatever, no one there. He said I could have just gone on the floor, and he said, but there was something there. He described it as logic, he said, and my logical brain, and I was arguing with myself, and he said, by the skin of my teeth, he said, I managed to convince myself, and I'm just there smiling, and I'm like, mate, you've just been through a panic attack, you had an anxiety attack, and you've managed to do what we try and talk to people about, which is talking to yourself when you're going through that. And he didn't realize, he didn't realize at the time what it was. So what I loved about it is he said to me, he said that, he said from that, he said that I'll never look at it the same way again. If I hear of anybody or know anybody who suffers in some way, he said, I understand. Whereas up until his age, whatever he is, 50s, 60s, he never understood. So it's amazing, isn't it?
You don't do it unless you're going through stuff yourself. You don't really know, because if you're trying, most people try to focus on what they're doing, and that's not a bad thing.
No, we all see
you do that, and it's not being selfish. You know what I mean? You don't until you experience stuff that makes you think to yourself, there's other people going through stuff. You just don't know. You just don't recognise it. I know I didn't. You know what I mean? As I said to you before, there's no way back in, say, like 10 years ago, probably, I'll be on a Monday morning, Saturday, doing something like this. There's no chance, because I didn't have time to do stuff like that. I wasn't always, there's stuff that I thought I had to do that I was doing, but now.
I'm glad you are, mate.
Yeah.
Well, do you know the thing is as well, is that, because I'm a big believer in the fact that this was the exact time this is supposed to have happened. You know what I mean? It's 10 years ago. Very much. So we're really happy to have you here today, Naomi. Thank you very much. And also, I think out of the guests we've had, we've only had 2 that aren't men. So we do need to balance it out a bit with the guests.
Without a doubt,
And you brought a couple of friends along, haven't you?
I have.
So before we get into the proper questions and all that sort of stuff, did I give you a copy of it? Right?
Yeah, I've got a little copy of it.
Would you mind telling everyone who you are, what you're getting up to now, and how you came to be sat in the lounge with us?
Lovely. So I am Naomi from Animal Teach, which is my business I started off less than 2 years ago. I came to be sat here because Nathan dropped me a message, and I am more than happy to talk to anyone. Believe it or not, I was a quiet child. I didn't talk to a lot of people, didn't have confidence, but if you see me now, doing my workshops, I'm totally different. So where I'm up to now, oh my goodness, do you want the long story or the short story?
Yeah, long story.
Your own words.
I will start from the beginning. So Oswald now, very key to what I do. I felt like that for my whole life pretty much. But then when it comes to talking about animals, I had this confidence that I could feel internally. Anything else, and I was the shy child, I was very much, I'd go in, I was a nerd, I'd do my work, and then I'd go home, and I sort of kept myself to myself. But I remember as early as being probably 5 years old, my mum asking why there was lettuce in the garden, and I used to feed the snails, and I used to take them into school for pet day. And then we had a squirrel on the back doorstep, and she used to come down for custard cream. And then when we dropped my mum off to work, there was a herring in the same place every morning, and I'd always shout out to my dad, "Oh, there's a herring," and I got really excited. And if Mr. Herring wasn't there, I used to get so upset that he wasn't there. So growing up, there was always these little snippets of animals. Like, we used to go to the zoo, and I wouldn't just watch, I'd take my notebook and I'd watch extensively, and I'd draw and I'd write, and there was always these little things. So as soon as I was able to, I finished school, I went to college and did my BTEC in animal management. Absolutely loved it. Then I went on to do a degree in zoology, so qualified zoologist. From there I went into zookeeping. It's very much been non-stop. As a zookeeper, I realised, as much as I was like mucking out the yards, which I loved, or looking after the animals, which is brilliant, and I've worked with everything from crocodiles and snakes, bats, moose, elephants. I used to help out with every now and again. The giraffe section. There's so many animals I've worked with, but if it was the weird animals, the misunderstood ones, the snakes, the lizards, I was in the element, and I would chew the ear of anyone that wanted to learn about them. So a teaching job came up at a local land-based college, and I went for it. But within the first year, I applied and become instructed, practical lecturer. And it's again been non-stop. Doing my qualified teacher training whilst I was there as well. So it has been a non-stop journey. But it was when my eldest is nearly 5, and my eldest is 5, and my youngest is nearly 2. And I decided when my youngest was only 3 months old to not return to work. Where I worked was brilliant. But in terms of flexibility with like part-time and then the money I'd be paying on childcare anyway, and even full-time and paying on childcare, it just become a very more difficult lifestyle to balance. So, I mean, running a business is a totally different kettle of fish. So I was like, I'll just take the animals out and then I go home. It's not like that at all. There's a lot more that goes into it. But yeah, I was on maternity leave. I was very stressed about returning to work, and I should have just been enjoying time with my kids. But I couldn't. All my mind could think about was, how on earth are you going to fit this in around husband's work hours? There's a drop off here, there's a drop off there, there's childcare here, there's no help with childcare there, this, that and the other. And it becomes so stressful. So I went into my workplace and I took my daughter in. And on the same day I handed my notice in, and I felt the biggest relief, because it was a pressure that I did no longer have to worry about. But then I had to worry about, well, what am I going to do now? Because I cannot sit still. I find it very difficult to sit and do nothing. I have to be constantly working towards what I enjoy. So my husband asked, well, what's your plan now? So I was like, I'm going to set up a business. And it's going to involve my biggest passions, which are education and animals. I've trained for them for a long time, and I've studied them extensively. I've been out there in the world of work, and I'm not losing it, but I still want to be a mum. So setting up a business for me was the way to go, where I could have a better... It's never going to be a true work-life balance at the minute, why it's so new, but I could see the kids and do the drop-offs, but then I can still be me. So I began to design my logo, and then it's the same one that's stuck today with me chameleon on. It's very to the point, animal teacher, who says what it does. And then I approached the citizens of Christ, I didn't know I was a business. Like, animals, mucking out, all of the learning materials, fantastic. Set up business, I was like that. Right, okay. So I approached the citizens of Christ, who put me in contact with a few organisations, and really gelled with the Prince's Trust. So went to them, did their enterprise programme, learned all the ins and outs. Then you begin to put this business plan together, and it becomes more real. That, oh my goodness, it's not just an idea in my head anymore, like this is actually going to happen. So went through that, launched my 70-page business plan. It was quite a big one, to the Prince's Trust panel, and then from that they helped provide some funding to apply for my licensing. So for what I do, you're required to have a license by law to take animals out to exhibit, especially if it's in return for monetary value. So I went through the council, and I'm fully licensed to do what I do, and the grant come from the Prince's Trust to help me do that. So I was on maternity leave, money I mean, money was scarce, you know. So I did that, and she come out, and she was brilliant. And I got the licence the week before Christmas in 2021 it was, and then it hit me that I was like, oh, now this is really real. This is really real. There's no going back now. Like it's time to go. So that was like most of the background. From then till now, oh my goodness, there's been over 80 educational workshops to every single type of background or person you can think of. So everyone from young to old. I work with people on probation. I'll teach anybody. I'll educate anybody, and it doesn't matter where you come from. For me, it's giving anyone that experience. So there's over 80 educational workshops. There's the collection, the animal collection of Norwich Nature Local, that's grown from a very small 7 species to 43 different types of animals, so 43 species.
Did you keep them?
They're in my house. So
in your house?
In my house, yeah. So when I settled the business...
You got a zoo attached to your house or something?
No, it's not a big house. Everyone asks me, like, is there a mansion? I'm like, that'd be ideal, because then I could really extend like everything. So, you know, people normally have like a dining table, or you know, a bit of a playroom for the kids, or the living room is pretty much the sofa and the telly. It's very relaxing. Yeah. Mine's relaxing in a different way. There's a zoo pretty much in the house. So, in one part of the living room, no, in both parts, the husband built a wall. And we used to have just the fish tank there. There's now floor-to-ceiling enclosures, so everything is linked back to that legislation I follow. So I have to follow certain guidelines, and but obviously that's best for the animal and best for what I'm doing. But it means very large enclosures. So the fish tank got shut down. The enclosures were built. I mean, like I say, I started off with the minimum. It was second-hand enclosures. It was what I could put together, what my husband was building. And now it is, I mean, if I could charge and it didn't void my house insurance, I'd be a millionaire by now for people to come into the local Runcorn scene. But yeah, there's all sorts in that room. And then around the sofa, I've got my chameleons. And then in the hallway, there's more. It's literally in my house, but at the same time, I didn't anticipate Animal Teach to grow at the rate it did within this time frame. Within so many years, yes, I did. I know my long-term plan is to have an educational centre set up in Halton, and I know where I'm going to and I'm aiming for. Did I think I'd have this many animals now and be this booked up? No. Did I think I'd be winning awards recently? I won an award.
I was going to say yes. So tell us about that then. So what?
Oh my goodness! I don't understand Twitter, but I joined it and it's opened up a lot of doors. So the first door it opened was Halton Make Fest last year. And I still speak with the people.
It's happening again this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I can't read it, unfortunately.
No, I can't go either. I was working on the same day.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant to showcase. Like we were saying before, weren't we? A lot of people say there's nothing in Runcorn, but if you look what's there is so many community groups. There's so many opportunities, and Halton Make Fest is one of them. So it is happening again this year, and that was the first door Twitter opened, and then. Just joining, putting random hashtags on things, I don't care what I'm doing. And there was one that come up about, it was on Small Business Sunday, and I follow a lot of the Dragons from the Dragons Den because that was something I loved watching now and growing up. And Theo Pafitas put one up about Small Business Sunday, and you tweet about what you do, and then he handpicks with his team 6 organisations across the UK. And one day my phone went wild, and there was about 40 different notifications popping through. I was like, isn't it? I've normally had 1 or 2. And I looked and it said you're a winner, and I was tagged in something to say that I'd been chosen by him and his team to be recognised for the work that I do. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was jumping up, I was doing a dance, I was so excited. And then from that, we send a lot of information out. They do like a press pack and that sort of thing. And then say you've got to be invited to an event. You'll get to meet Theo, you'll get to have a photograph with him. I got to, so the talks were brilliant. So there was Mark Blundell, who was the F1 driver, Ollie O'Kane. Oh my goodness, he was working for the NHS, and he's got a book now about how to be your own therapist, which links in very much to this, and his talk was probably my favourite, to be honest. They talked about the money aspect of running a business, there was the networking, and then it was fantastic from start to finish. My husband and myself, we travelled down there, a very rare night away from the children. That doesn't happen very often, you know, we stick together quite a lot with what we do. And then whilst down there, as well as having this recognition for what Animal Teach stands for, I bumped into my old college tutor who taught me at Crompton. So she was there and she was winning an award. And she walked past us like, oh my goodness me. So I caught up with her, and then there was also 2 other Halton based businesses as well as myself. So there was 2 others. So there's 3 businesses from Halton that have been chosen. But the key figure that stood out from that was 0.8% of people who applied win. So out of 450,000 applicants over the last 10 years, we were in just 0.8% of people that have won this award to be recognised. And it was myself and, like I say, 2 other Halton based businesses that are very much animal and nature based as well. So it adds, and it was fantastic to be a part of another community. And it's led on to other things which I'll be putting on social media later this year. But that was amazing. There was that, and then earlier last year I went to an award ceremony in Widnes with Fortune, a female society, and a friend who I met through doing a business had said, oh, I've nominated you for something, come along to the thing. And I was like, yeah, brilliant. So I went, and then I found out I was shortlisted from a load of Halton businesses run by women, down to just 5 for Entrepreneurs a Year. I was shortlisted for that. A fantastic organisation won, and then I was in that shortlist group, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is lovely, like people are seeing what Animal Teach stands for. And then it reaffirmed with me that I took a huge leap quitting a job, not knowing what to do next. But then people were picking up on, actually, no, you've got something here, and that made me feel a lot more confident that I didn't just do it on a whim. There's a reason behind everything that I do. So it's been a whirlwind of adventure since day one, and it's still ongoing now. I was saying before, like the Prince's Trust were brilliant on their enterprise programme, and I'm now one of the ambassadors for the North of England for the Prince's Trust. So that came through recently. I'm meeting with my mentor for that later today. You know, and that recognition again. But yeah, it's non-stop. It's non-stop, and it is brilliant. The work-life balance is probably not there what I anticipated, but what Animal Teach does, and seeing the kids more definitely is, it just means it's Animal Teaching family more than anything. And not necessarily one of the questions later about health and wellbeing is that's where my switch off time doesn't come in massively. But no, Animal Teach, I mean, I love it because it's mine, isn't it? I have the family support, friend support, and lots of local organisations. People I've met through doing it, like, are brilliant, and they know who they are. They help me out massively. You know, and this is real community feel, which is what I want, and it links back to being that odd one out again, to giving kids in particular, or people who feel different, a place to go to. And if they connect with animals and that's their thing, like, that I can provide it. You know, I've got kids club starting this year, to have that thing that wasn't necessarily there when I grew up.
That's fantastic.
So I could be here all day talking about how Animal Teach came to be and what happens now, but it is non-stop.
You just no, you mentioned, excuse my ignorance here, you mentioned Fortune, a female society. What is that?
So they're I didn't fully know until I was nominated for the award. So they are based in Halton, run by women, and really promote Halton-based things. So Halton-based businesses, empowering women, providing opportunities for women where they may not get that sort of connection or sort of friendliness elsewhere. So they stand for a lot. They're on social media as well as
they're based in
I believe it's Widnes, so Widnes, Runcorn. I'm pretty sure they're based on a studio in Widnes. And again, they were brilliant. I went along to this evening, and the support in that room was incredible. The food they put on, oh my goodness me, it was incredible.
I like that.
Yeah, the food was brilliant. But the atmosphere that was in that awards evening, it was just lovely. There was the biggest thing for me is I hate being judged, and I don't think it's a nice thing for anyone to ever go through.
No.
But I think sometimes you go to events and you're like, oh, are they going to think this? Are they going to think that? Are they going to, oh, I've said something wrong, am I going to do this? There was nothing like that at all. It was full support, no matter what you did, no matter where you come from. The same at the SBS event, the same at other things I've been to. And for me, that it just helps people who are in a very sort of negative space or not 100%. Yeah. But it's brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds
just
amazing.
part of the journey. I don't want to say journey. The journey.
Yeah.
But I very much like the word adventure, to be honest. It's very much of the adventure, like just that's a snippet, and then obviously growing the animal collection, growing the business.
Yeah.
You know.
I think you're doing it super well, and I think that one of the most important things that comes out is that clearly it's something that you actually really love doing as well. You're happy doing it. It's also how you've got into this position of doing something that since you were a kid, you know, that you've been meant to do. Really. Yeah. But you've had to put the hard shift in and make those choices about pushing you out of your comfort zone and facing your fears and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
You've had to actually do that to get to where you are now.
Oh yeah, I think that sometimes, not everyone, but I've had a couple of people say to me, oh, but you're dead confident. I'm like, no, I am on the outside, but internally, I'm still that child growing up. Like, I have that anxiety when I go out, and I have good days and bad days, and you know, I am pretty much out there doing the majority of workshops by myself, so I have to put the Naomi face on, the animal teacher face on, and that is draining. I love it, and I love every aspect, but that part is extremely draining. When I wake up and I'm mentally not prepared, and I have to go out and be me an animal teach, inside I'm like this.
All the pressure's in you then, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm quite a happy, smiley person.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
Which is the best way to be. Right?
You've only got another 5 questions to go, Nathan.
Oh, sorry. There's more.
To be honest, that was really good. I'm really happy with that. Because when this one, so the first question there, it's really quite all-encompassing. Yeah. So you did amazingly well, so thank you so much. I wanted people to get a good idea of what you're doing. And very
successful. Crazy bug lady is what I normally get called. Or the
crazy bug lady.
Or reptile lady. I'm walking through the shops and then I'm like, Mummy, there's the woman who brought in all the bugs. And she's the one who said I could hold a snake. And I'm about doing my shopping and hear this, but kids remember it. But I need to get, instead of animal teach, I need crazy reptile lady or crazy bug lady on your back, to be honest.
You should that'd be good, like a little tag, wouldn't it? I like the idea. I think it's that sort of time now, Junior, where we're going to need your guitar.
Right, okay.
So with this one today then, what we did was, because we do a song every week.
Yes.
Do you sing or play or anything?
I play the piano.
Oh, I could have brought the piano.
Yeah, I've not played it in ages, but I do play the piano. Singing, I'll sing around the house and to the kids.
Okay, well, awesome. So we've got our backing singer. So basically, every week we do if you want to join in at any point, feel free. So with this, then this morning, every week it's the same. You turn on, and then you'll go, and I'll go, what song? And then we'll try something with you. So this morning you said, oh, we'll try this one. And I wasn't convinced. I was like, oh. So we had to go, didn't we? And then, funnily enough, there's this other song that I've been wanting to do for ages. And it just worked in really, really well. Didn't it?
It's like what the kids nowadays call a mash-up. And this is going to be a mash-up.
Got the lyrics.
Yeah, I'll just give a little intro and then
I forgot because I got the lyrics up on my phone, didn't I? But I'm using the phone to film, so I can't use them.
I had some questions down here to ask you about. I think you've covered everything. Tell us about what the first was. Tell us about you, which you have. What have you been doing locally, which you have. Tell us about your support, which you have. What was it? Right. I could ask you that one. I'll keep that one for a bit.
Okay.
These are bonus questions.
Oh, bonus questions. Bonus questions.
How was school life like for you? You told us about your school, Well, clearly we know what you're most proud of. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, and that one, yeah, and right, yeah. So I've got a couple there. I could
yeah. So we're going to do our song, and then we're going to carry on talking to Naomi from pretty cool.
Yeah,
cool
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not back on mine.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
See, I've not even got the animals out yet.
I know, I'm really excited about that.
Well, I had to go holding the snake. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
You've really faced your fears today.
I know it. I was nervous when Nathan told me you were coming. I thought, but you better not bring that snake next to me.
You said that a couple of times. I was hoping a snake. But I just had this feeling. I just thought that you'd end up bringing a steak.
I wasn't planning to, until the last minute, and I was like, no, I'm
I'm really glad, because you've done it now.
I know.
You've done it. Right, man, so here we go.
Do we end it right?
Chorus, don't we? pushing myself outside the comfort zone. I've got a sweat on and everything else. Like,
not gonna lie, I was like, I'm not doing everything. I keep drinking this, so I'm avoiding that. And then them two songs, I was like, I don't know half the words, but yeah, let's do it.
I'm convinced that something like, I'm going to have some kind of like a medley or something from all these episodes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You like Band-Aid? Do you remember Band-Aid?
Yeah.
Well, this is the later version for you.
Yeah.
You remember the older one?
Yeah.
And like they were getting on track together, Band-Aid live.
Yeah.
Do it on the front, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could.
Get everybody on.
Yeah.
Go.
We could do.
That's the idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Getting off track.
No, we're getting on track. Together.
So back to before we go on, let me just say just quickly about, we always talk about local stuff that's going on.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And he's got the what's happening in Halton.
Also,
if you are local to here on Thursday evening, for men, this is Thursday evening in Frodsham, which is just down the road. Then we have our men's group 7ish till 9ish, no pressure, non-judgmental, totally relaxed, confidential, safe place. And that's for all ages of men really. Our youngest is 22, the oldest is 82, but the 82-year-old acts younger than the 22-year-old. That's how it is, and we love him for it. So anyway, if you want to get in touch or you want to come along, feel free. So what have you got, Junior? On the,
having a look. I always have a quick look before I come out. As I always say, what's on in Halton is on the What's on in Halton website and Facebook. Check that out. But some always catches my eye. There's one here called it says tomorrow, which hopefully is tomorrow, and this wasn't on last week.
We're starting off, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we hope
tomorrow.
We're not sure.
Tomorrow is a job
today.
Job on apprentices fair at Halton Library. And it's a professional work and shared community event in Runcorn, and starts at 11 o'clock till 1:30. Right? This one is another one. This Saturday at 2 p.m. Could have been last Saturday. Check it out. This is not a comedy show.
Can you scroll?
Yeah, and it's I love this one. Cotton Reel House Workshop at the Barn Craft. And that's, like you see, that's the thing I got. I mean, the barn,
Cotton Reel House Workshop.
Yeah,
the barn
in
Halton.
Frodsham. Yeah.
So it could be last Saturday.
This Saturday 2 p.m. Check it out. It's a trip out to Frodsham.
When did you get this though?
This morning, yeah.
Oh,
It's this Saturday. Yeah, it could, yeah. And then, so you know,
that's really
if you went and it was last week, at least there's a pub there.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraging drinking or even driving. Yeah. So don't say junior set. And then and I've got there's one Ellesmere Port, which is definitely in June. I know it's a bit far, but it was together with that also. It's Ellesmere Port Pride, which is on Saturday 24th of June at 11 a.m.
Okay.
So you can check all that out.
So we've gone from tomorrow to last Saturday.
Could be yesterday. You never know, do you?
So you've got your plans covered for the next 3 months, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stu. That's
so
awesome.
just go on the Halton website and it's up there.
So it's what's happening in Halton, Frodsham.
Yeah. Halton, Frodsham and Helsby.
Right, okay. It's on Facebook. It's a really good group. Really useful.
Yeah.
And Junie is not on commission at all.
No.
For telling you about the group. It's really useful.
No.
So, should we meet your little friends that you brought along with you?
Yes, I'm gonna get the snake out again.
Yeah. You see me legging, you know why?
You've done amazingly earlier on. Absolutely amazing.
Lovely. So,
oh wow! So this one is.
This is Monty the Royal Python, or a ball python. They wrap up like a ball, and she's an African species, so absolutely beautiful.
I should feel at home then.
I know.
African species. You should know me.
But yeah, she's brilliant. She's a smaller python, so they normally get a bit longer than what she is. She comes from a lovely family that still stays in contact. They couldn't look after a few animals anymore, so I've got chow.
You know when you said you come from a lovely family that still stay in contact, stay in contact with each other.
Yeah. Also the humans. So Monty is lovely. She is one of the stars, and a lot of people like yourself, they see the snake come out and they go, oh my goodness me.
Right.
You know, but when, you know, I'll say I'll move a head away, you can stroke a tail, you know, stroke a body and stuff, she feels like they're not slimy or anything like that. They're actually beautiful, aren't they? But yeah.
So when they're doing that thing with the fangs,
yes.
like.
So 2 hands like that, and if she stretches out, you hold it up and roll her to accommodate her body. It's a body support method. Like I said before, I don't put snakes around necks. A lot of people in my workshops know that. She's looking at you. That tongue flicking isn't necessarily, I'm going to eat you. Right. So what they do is they flip their tongue, and it takes the scent particles to an organ before the brain called the Jacobson's organ. Yeah. And that then tells the brain like what they're coming up to. Is it food? Are they, you know, exploring their habitat?
So you could be looking at me now thinking I'm food.
I mean, as long as you're not a big bird or a rodent, you're absolutely fine. Right. So she's doing that to smell the environment, essentially, taste the environment. Yeah. And they tongue flip to do that. Right. And then she'll stretch out and explore. Like, quite often in the workshops, actually, she's been getting better at it. I'll show people how she moves along the floor or a certain safe space. To show her body, and that tongue flicking, when she smells something she's quite interested in, will increase. When she's quite content, it'll decrease. But yeah, she's smelling new things.
Looking at you, Nathan, like.
So, has she got nerves all through her body? Can she feel everything?
Yeah, so they've got nerves. So they have a skeleton system, so they have the skeletal system.
Turn it around, Nathan, like, turn it around. Turn Monty round. You've
already got up close and personal.
I know, but like the head wasn't looking at me. Hello, Monty.
So yeah, what's it called? She has got a skeletal system, so she's got a skull, a spine, and ribs.
Oh mate, this is going. You're giving me 2 clips out. I'm going through all the clips, you see, all the episodes. I'm trying to clip them. You're giving me some cracking clips.
And then they have nerves, they're full of, the organs are inside, they're full of nerves and muscles. So they feel everything, they're vertebrate animal, you know, so they can feel, they can pick up on sounds, they can pick up on emotions, you know, they're incredible. They don't probably get enough credit as what they deserve, really, but yeah, a brilliant species, quite sensory. So he's running away, but you held Monty before.
I did.
Pop her on my lap.
Yeah, of course you can, yeah. Right. She might explore the sofa. But I've got yeah, so quite sensory sort of feel. Quite often the thoughts be slimy. You can get sort of rough scaled snakes and smooth scaled snakes. You know, she is quite smooth and she doesn't leave residue on your hands or anything like that.
Yeah, that's all.
You know,
it's strange because obviously you're not used to animals being so cold unless you're dealing with mammals.
Yeah, so she is cold-blooded. Transport, I mean, they've got their lovely thermostat controlled vivariums at home, then they get a fleece and hot water bottle when they go out, I have a heat on in the car, and then they go back in the same standards to get home. So they're very well looked after. She is indeed.
She's going for the pen.
The pen, she's probably trying to find somewhere to hide. So she'll just seek out new places. Skittles, I would have brought Skittles as well. He's bigger than Monty. But Skittles is getting ready to shed his skin, so he's at home at the minute. And he loves tables. But yeah, you can see how she stretches out there. Oh, she's changing stuff on your iPad!
You're not happy with that then? That was the show,
Was it? Yeah.
And I can see she's not happy.
No, she doesn't want to log that on. She changed the channel.
She's not good to talk. Monty doesn't know.
I can see her there still. I can see her there.
I was hoping that she'd think,
wrap your arm. Skittles does, but she's very much like, so it depends on their typical behaviour. She's quite a terrestrial species, which will be found lower on the ground, will climb on certain elements, whereas other species are semi-arboreal or arboreal. So I'm going to get her before she knocks his sign down.
She's amazing.
Well, glad you changed your name on that.
I think we need like video proof that you've held her. So I'm tempted
I heard that. It's when the head was coming towards me, like.
I'll say.
So what do I do?
So hold hands under mine there, and I'm just going to move mine, and there, and then you've got the full support of her, and she's nice and comfortable. And then I'm here just in case you're nervous.
Is it possible? Like, is there a problem with if Junie wants to give her a kiss or anything like that?
Yeah. So,
I'm going that far.
Yeah, so I'd advise not to, because as much as the beautiful reptiles can carry salmonella. I don't want to go away from this saying I'll just give it. Yeah, but she's brilliant. I always avoid her head. She's not a massive fan of her head being touched anyway. You know how amazing eyesight.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
But she
cold, isn't it? That old.
Yeah, so
cold,
she's
isn't it?
quite cool. Yeah, like I said, she's got a hot water bottle in there. She's on the opposite side. Yeah, and then she'll go home and she'll basket certain points, but she pretty much comes out every time.
What she doing?
No, she's just looking. She's actually posing.
She got the head.
Would you like me to take her?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
This is amazing.
The head's when the head's away from you, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's when the head starts coming towards you, it's like...
Yeah, mate. I know you're panicking.
I know, yeah.
As soon as I touch the snake before, you're like, sanitize!
Yeah.
Yeah, don't really, I always say to kids, you don't want to turn into a snake, and they go, but we do, and I'm like, please still sanitize. Yeah, so she's one of her superstars, she's one of the zoo at home.
Right.
And she's a brilliant one, she's so calm, you know, for helping people who might be a bit nervous or a little bit unsure, you know. I'm very much like, when I go out and do my workshops, I don't make anyone do anything they don't want to do, but I'm very much about confidence building. So it's them little steps, like, you know, go for the tail and that sort of thing. And then when someone's face is so proud when they just like hold up, do something they've never done, so I'm like, I did it.
I never thought. Yeah, but I never thought I'd ever.
No, but exactly.
Yeah, you did it.
Like, oh, I did it.
Unbelievable.
See, before we get Chow Chow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Chow Chow.
I do say bad names sometimes. But, so what was Chow Chow again?
An Indonesian blue tongue skink. Which doesn't make it easy, does she?
So you've said obviously bits about, you know, quite a lot about where you come from. So what would you say is the question really is motivation? Really? What would you say is your main motivation in life, and what gets you out of bed? On the days especially when it's hard to get out.
Oh my goodness, that's because the kids are pulling me out of bed. Or I've got things that I need to be doing. Probably I enjoy the little things. So very much, if I'm having a difficult day and all I want to do is curl up in my bed and not move, the kids don't give me a choice, to be honest, because I normally up relatively early and, you know, it's mummy, come on, or daddy or whatever. So and then it's the little things. So just when there's a massive task ahead or something really big to do, I try and just hone focus in on, alright, well, what's something little that I can look at and enjoy. So for example, I did an event recently, and I know if they're watching this back, they are going to giggle at me. It was a big event at Norton Priory, and I'm there quite often, it's brilliant. But my head was in a different space to start off with that day, a very stressful space, like not really logical. I was like moving things here, there and everywhere, and then all of a sudden 2 long-tailed tits come down on the feeder next to the car, and I just turned to watch them and just switch my brain off from all the other stresses, like enjoy the little things. And like I say, they're going to watch it back really well, and they'll be giggling because I turned to this little child and I was like, oh my goodness, look at the birds are on the feeder. And I just stopped what I was doing for a minute to just refocus my energy into, okay, it's a bit stressful moving things, but it's not the end of the world. The biggest thing is just enjoying what I'm doing. And enjoying waking up and, you know, seeing the kids learn something new, but all spending time with my husband, as much as that's rare. You know, spending time with my husband and going, oh, we can go and do this today. Or if, you know, there's a new animal in the collection, checking on them the next day or that same night.
Is he an animal lover as well, your husband, yeah?
Don't think he has a choice.
Well, to be fair,
me and John, we've known each other, it's close to 20 years now. So we met at high school. And been together pretty much together since.
What school did you go to?
The school's in Runcorn, so the Grange.
Oh, the Grange, the Grange,
so we grew up in Runcorn.
Right.
So he is very understanding. He's incredibly supportive. He is probably the one that's got more... If I come up with a suggestion, which is very much spontaneous, he's like the sensible one. And I was like, what do you need to do this? Or, like, is this a good thing right now? And I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. And I should probably listen to him a bit more, to be honest.
But it's good to have that sounding board as well, isn't it?
Oh,
it makes you, by him questioning you, then you answer those questions, don't you?
Definitely.
So you're solid in what you're doing.
It might not be what I want to hear, but he's like, are you sure you need this? And I'm like, oh, I want it. Like, you know, that sort of thing. But no, he's he's absolutely fantastic. So he loves animals, and he's very tolerable of the animals bring home. When I said tarantulas, he was like, "What now?" And I was like, "Yeah, they'll be fine. Tarantulas are lovely." And he was looking at me like, "Okay." Yeah, but no, he's incredible. You know, he helps me out a lot. Very nice support. And
that's what you need, is the support, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without the support, you know, that's it, isn't it? That's it. When you do something like that, especially being self-employed, you do something like that.
You can be lonely,
that support is very,
it's very important.
Very important,
Yeah, family get me out of bed, and then just enjoying what I'm doing, enjoying little things.
Little things, because it's little things that matter, isn't it? The little things that add up. I really like what you said about the two little birds.
I love them.
I think it is, because we talked about this before, haven't we? And it's so easy to just go through life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you just look at the sky, man. You know, just look up and be like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, look at the birds around you, listening to the birds singing. It's just, because everything's just passing by, doesn't it?
I've created these little wood lice worlds, I call them, when I take out, and so lots of different tropical wood lice that are breeding and showing like how they live on the ground and stuff. So I take them out, and there's one workshop I did that I remember very clearly, and there was a young lad, and he was so excited. I had the torch and things, he could do magnifying glasses, and he just watched these, and he was like, "Do they live out in like the wild when we're around?" It's like, yeah, and they're underneath us, but you don't know until you stop and look. And that's one nice thing where, like, even I do at home when I'm having a Naomi moment or whatever, I'm like, I've got so much to do, but it's all my fault because I decided to do it all. And then I just sit and I watch something, and then I go, oh, so yeah, this is actually quite cool, and I refocus.
It's good that you've got those tools that you're able to pull yourself back, because we need those things, don't we? Sometimes. It's good that you've got that. While it's on my mind, because I wrote down before and I don't want to forget, I had somebody get in touch with me, and it was potentially about doing something with some people, adults they were, and they were talking about coming here and doing some kind of workshop, right?
Lovely.
At the time, I had no idea of what to do, and obviously I've spoken to you about potentially doing something here as well.
Yes, definitely.
But I need to, while it's on mind, that's what I say.
Yes.
Sat here, right? But yeah, we'll come back to that. So, can you tell us about, we touched on it before, about being the odd one out, right? Well, can you tell us specifically maybe about a particular time in your life when you felt, that you remember, that comes to mind, and also when in your life have you felt, it might be the same time, when you felt lonely, the most lonely?
This is a hard one. So
it's getting deeper.
It's getting really deep.
Don't give out information they don't want to give out.
It's getting really deep. So it's, I mean, there's certain, if I think about now, like, I love spending time with my family and my children. Some days I just want to get to the evening and sit there, and that happens sometimes. My husband works nights, and you know, the kids have finally gone to sleep because they're a bundle of energy, and my husband's gone out, and all I've been thinking about sometimes is, I can't wait to sit there, and it's just my thoughts. And then I get to that moment and I go, oh, it's just me now. And then I'm so used to having people around me that I go, I don't want to be by myself. And I'm like, and I'll text John, or I'll call my mum and my dad or whatever. Or I'll start doing stuff on social media to keep me busy. But in reality, I could just sit there and have a lonelier moment and have a moment where it is just me, but I don't like it. So that's probably relevant now. When I was younger, it was mostly every element of being in classes and schools. Like, I was a nerd, and I still am. I love learning, and I do my work, and my colours were in a certain order, and I'd be very neat with my writing and everything like that. I was dead proud of my work. But at the same time, it made you look a bit different, that you wasn't, not necessarily like a popular kid, but, I wanted to go to school and learn. So Odd One Out is probably relevant in all aspects. I can't think of a set moment where I've truly felt, oh my goodness me, I'm a bit nuts or whatever, or anything like that. But I think there's been so many little things where I go, right, I'm in school and people are talking about they went to dance or sports, like you mentioned before, and I go, I've had my pet snails in the garden, and people do look at you and go, especially children don't mean any harm by it, do they? But you do think back and go, why were they looking at me so weird, like I had 10 heads, and and that sort of thing. So it's, even now, there's still times now where I go into social settings, and I am a happy, smiley person, like a happy, smiley llama jumping around, dead excited. But internally, I'm like, oh, have I said the right thing? Should I say something different? How can I ask a question differently? Like, and that sort of thing. So that's still always there, that element of anxiety. You know, going back to the tools that he said, I have had therapy when I was younger. I went to CBT and took it on board a lot about alternative thinking and that sort of thing. And that helps a lot. Something I really try and embrace daily. It's harder some days than others. But yeah, I've always felt different. I still do now, but I embrace it now. When I was younger, it was like, oh, they must think of me like this, and oh, they must think I'm this, and they must think. Now I'm like, do you know what? You think what you want, but this is me. But it's taken a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of time to get to that point as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's not an overnight thing. Definitely not. It's having the tools, having the support, knowing where to get support if you're not sure, and the energy that you mentally need to put into it is probably the most difficult thing to do. But yeah, that's.
I think a lot of what I try, the conversations that we have, right, a big point of what we try and do is to make it so that it's relatable.
Yeah.
So, and to let people understand that everyone has different ways and different thoughts and different feelings, but we're all similar in lots of ways as well, right? Yeah. And how it's not about, you know, somebody sat there going, oh, I can do this, I can do this. It's not about that. Because there's always, like you've been saying, there's that other side to it. And also, things, you have to work at things.
Oh, yeah.
So, you have to work to get what you want. And I think that sometimes it's easy for people to feel very lost and down, and, you know, and it's totally understandable. It's okay to feel like that.
Yeah.
But the point of it is, I think you don't. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. You know? Even if you feel like you can't change your life, you can change your life.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you changed your life, or you changed my life, you changed yours, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my friend over here behind the camera, he changed his.
Yeah.
So there's a decision.
I could someone something like that. I read something yesterday on Facebook about a guy in Liverpool. There's a movement in Liverpool called Liberate Liverpool.
Oh,
yeah. I think and there's a guy there who's I think the guy named Brian Phillips or something. I think his name is. So he was a homeless guy. This is what his story. He said on Facebook. This is his own words. He said he was back in, and he was on the street in Liverpool, and he went and spoke to this guy who kind of changed his life, and now this guy is going to be running for the councillor of this Liverpool movement. And they've got a meeting tomorrow night or something. It's either tonight or tomorrow night. I'm doing dates again. But it's good that this fella is like, he's come. I remember I was going to Liverpool and busking on the streets for the homeless. We've done a couple.
What do they stand for? You know,
it's about having Liverpool govern itself, kind of, instead of central government. Because obviously central governments are based down south, and they only think about down south, and they only give these little caveats about this northern powers and all that rubbish. It's never gonna. They don't come to. It's all about down south. So Liverpool, I think this is what I think it is. That's what they want to govern and make their own decisions about what they want to do in their city. And it sounds a good thing, but going back to this fellow, he's dragged himself up from. There's a photo. They showed a photo of him when he was really down in the dumps, and a photo of him now, and he wouldn't recognise it's the same bloke.
Actually, do you know what I just thought to put in there is that, you know, when you are changing or you're building or you're growing and all this sort of stuff, right? How much other people make a difference to what you're doing. That little smile, even if it's just little things in there, and just giving you a hug, or someone that you don't even know giving you a smile, things like this, that is massive difference. So when we say all about, you know, being with other people like that and smiling and, you know, trying to be kind to each other, it is because it has a massive effect on you, absolutely huge, and you can't really see the effect until, well, you probably never see the effect a lot.
No.
What would you say is success to you then?
See, I think the majority of responses when people say success is probably the financial thing. Like, you know, having lots of money, cars, house. I'm not about that. Like, I can't remember saying this to John. I can't remember the last time that we bought ourselves like new clothes. Like, we're very much like we're quite.
You do charity shops and stuff like that.
Love charity shops. Absolutely love charity shops. They're just a treasure cove, aren't they? They are. Love charity shops, you know. you'll get the kids things and that sort of thing. We're sort of wearing the same clothes for like the last few years or whatever. You know,
as long as they
exactly.
can more,
it's on the planet, isn't it?
I think I got a shirt from 1977.
That's before I was born, man.
Hey, I've got a towel in the cricket bat from 1974. I'm not joking. You kids are leaving my wife think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
Yeah, so it's little things like, we're quite relaxed. So success for me is finding something that you enjoy and making the most of it. It goes back to them little things like, and then little wins, you know. I did not plan on singing live on camera before. You know, so the songs come on, I was like tapping away and I was like, you know what, I don't even care what I look like, I'm going to do it. And that was a little win. You know, on a day where I don't want to get out of bed and I wake up still and I go, right, okay, yes, I'm still in my pyjamas or whatever. Today's it's one of the days, but I've got out of bed and I've coloured in with the kids, or I've managed to go and do something, and that sort of thing. So it's just, I think it's making success about what's in front of you. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be the big materialistic things.
No.
Like I say, I do like buying things, but quite often, and I'm laughing, it all comes back to animals. I get dead excited when I buy anything animal related. I went out with my mum the other day, and she was like, you are going to be live for that top. And I was like, why, what is it? And it was animals all over it. She was like, oh my, and she knew exactly what I was going for. You know, and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just having what you've got in front of you. It doesn't matter what element of life you're in or what part you like, and just making a success of the little things. You know, that makes me quite happy. I'll dance around the kitchen. The kids think I'm nuts dancing at tea time or whatever. And I'll dance when no one's there. And it'll appear out of nowhere, but I've not always been like that, you know. It goes back to that confidence that I wouldn't even get a ticket off a bus, I wouldn't go up to a buffet and get food, I wouldn't talk to new people, and it's them little wins and just grasping them and not letting them go, and then getting it's constructive, isn't it, and then doing the next little win and the next one, but within your own boundary, not getting into like a panic zone or stress zone, but being within a comfort with a little bit of a stretch and a challenge.
So when you're saying about those lots of wins, you mean when you're able to understand and realise what you've done, and then so that then that's your fuel, isn't it, for like next time, you know? I love that. Could we meet Chow Chow?
Yes, of course. Chow Chow.
Chow Chow's a skink.
Chow Chow is a skink.
It sounds such a... Your face, like Ian's face sounds...
That sounds like somebody says, you're skink.
Yeah. It sounds like another word, isn't it? Like, so you have to like say it, pronounce it when I'm out and about. Skink, not the other one. But you have to say it. What's it called? So Chow Chow is an Indonesian blue-tongued skink, and she looks like a snake with legs, essentially. So she's got short little legs. She comes from Indonesia, and there's about, I believe, 6 subspecies. That's checking my knowledge now, isn't it? So she's one of the largest skink species out there, and she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's like a little dog. This one, if I don't get her out, she's like on the front of her.
I just looked at when you were straight in the chin. She was like...
So she is very clingy. Yeah, she like when I'm prepping and stuff, she's like, I'm coming out, she's so excited. And when she's like, no, fine now, I'll do what I want, like, and then put me back in. And when I get the animals out, it's all about them. You know, it is all about the guest and that experience. But their priority, the animals are priority. So they don't want to do something, they don't, same as what I say before, humans essentially. But she's fantastic, and she will come over, I'll put her on your knee, she will walk along. She does have sharp little claws, but she'll find herself quite comfortable on you. She'll look for a crevice, she's got a triangular shaped head, so she'll try and nuzzle in somewhere, and she'll just like resting on an arm.
How do you see if they're happy?
So this is a hard thing, isn't it? So it's called being anthropomorphic, and when you use words like happy or sad, that's like a human word but an animal. But it's a word easy to use, so in terms of her like being content, relaxed and that sort of thing, it's watching her behaviour. They don't give a lot away. You know, at the minute she sat there, if she was stressed or showing any signs of sort of atypical behaviour, she could be quite vocal, so she could hiss, she could whip her tail. Yes, so she could whip her tail, she could hiss, she could bite if she really wanted to. But at the minute she's not showing that. If she wanted to get away, she would not be sat there right now, she would be running away.
So with the because other So there's a difference with these, is it reptiles and snakes? Because obviously like a dog, a cow, they're happy, right? They'll show they're happy. So do these not have the same emotional spectrum?
I believe they do. I've got 2 blue-tongued skinks, very different personalities. She is like a very lovable dog, you know, she's quite cuddly, she'll come out, she'll interact, she'll equally do her own thing. My other skink hisses and tail whips, and I'm platform training her and stuff at the minute, and she's getting used to, she'll feed off tongues and that sort of thing. She's not a big fan of hands, so she's not on my licence yet. She doesn't go out until she's ready for the future. But yeah, that's the same species but 2 different personalities.
Right.
You know, and I do think they have a connection. Like, quite often, I said it alone again this week, when I'm out and about, I don't know if it's my tone of voice, my smell or whatever, but the animals quite often will turn and come back up my arm. So the geckos will be here, or the skink will be up here, or whatever, the snakes.
They know you, don't they?
And people say that, like, they know you, and I think they do. I think they recognise at home. The colours is another one. As a zookeeper, if you walk past the meerkats in a certain colour, they thought they were getting fed. And they associate a colour with a behaviour. And I think it's the same for reptiles, like you can train them. There's loads of videos out there, people training reptiles. I did a little bit of target training with our tortoises, and they recognise it. And so that emotional sort of intelligence, I do think, is there. Maybe not on the level we understand of a mammal, but is there in their brain, definitely. She's lovely, isn't she?
Good, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind the old blue-tongue skink. She wants to come along.
So she might actually, if you put your arms together, she'll probably use you as, I say with kids, like a habitat, so she'll pretend she's out walking over the rocks and that sort of thing. She'll do a bit of licking. Give her a helping hand.
So how do you hold it?
So under the front legs and hind legs, because if you hold in the middle, she wobbles, because she's got an odd-shaped body. And then she'll be comfortable and she'll rest there.
She's a blue tongue.
She's got a blue tongue.
Yeah. So she, her favourite food to eat is snails, and that's where that flat tongue comes in to play, really. So they have sort of circular, sort of flatter shaped teeth rather than really sharp canines, and they use that to hold a snail, and that flat tongue then takes out the snail's body. Also blue's a warning colour out in
just
the
animal world. That I did hold it.
So predator sees her, they panic because they're she's got a blue tongue, she's venomous, she's poisonous. You know, all them big words, and then she's like, no, I'm not, I like my bugs and my fruit and my plants. But she's a star.
Yeah, she's lovely. Well, she knows. Good timing for asking you.
Yes.
What effect, you did mention it briefly before, what effect does your work have on your well-being?
Right, it's split. So when I am, when there's a lot going on, and I've only got myself to blame because I'm in charge of my own calendar. When there's a lot going on, I can become quite stressed. I don't necessarily vocalise it, but I'll all of a sudden become like quite within myself and find it difficult to get up and get that motivation, and I can really kick myself up the butt and be like, no, Gnomes is mine now, come on Gnomes, like you've really got to get up and do something now. And it happens every now and again. But the majority of the time, it is positive because I've got some of the most amazing animals from around the world. You know, I didn't necessarily have the chance to travel growing up, which I would have loved to have done. Life took a different way for me. You know, I ended up having a family and kids and worked very hard on my qualifications, local to home, and doing things here instead. So to have that opportunity to have them and then show people about them, other people that you know, they may have never even been in a zoo, or may have never seen a frog in the garden or something like that. So to have that chance for me is brilliant. So that positive side, she's what I'm watching her.
You know what I just thought? How do you? She's come back. If you want to go away, she's come back to you, mate.
What's a holiday? so need to be able to fit in a holiday, don't I? So I have, for the first time, booked a whole week of work this year. I've not done that since I started. I have random days here and there, but it's never truly a day off.
Where's she going?
She's on the sofa. I'll put her back in our show.
Yeah, because how would you end up? Because you've got all the animals to look after.
Yeah,
you can't take them all to anywhere.
No. If you call up somewhere like, can I bring 43 animals with me? They tend to go, what? So holiday-wise, it's...
You just make it look so easy now.
Lots of training. So holiday-wise, it's a case of leaning on that support system that we talked about already. So, you know, finding friends and family where I can go, hi, what are you doing on that day? Do you mind, you know, sorting these out? But quite often, we haven't been on a holiday for a while. We went away for a couple of days to Wales last year, and that was lovely. Just to have a little break, and I had someone very close to us come in and look after the animals. But looking for anything longer than that, like, I don't know, maybe in the future a holiday when I'm, you know, it's not necessarily in my house and I've got me hub and that sort of thing. But yeah, for now we should do lots of things out.
A big massive truck, like a van, take it all with you.
That'd do it, camper van.
I'm the same as you. What with me is music.
Yeah.
You know, going on holiday or going away anywhere. It's the last thing on my mind. There's nowhere that I want to go. What excites me is music and cricket. That's what They're the two things, and I couldn't care less. That's why I've not renewed my passport in 20 years. I'd rather go around Britain and see what's around Britain and get on a plane and fly anywhere just to do nothing. It's not me.
When I say about holidays, that's included, you know.
So it
doesn't have to be. I'm not, you know.
I know what you say. I know what you mean.
But it's not a holiday unless you go on a plane.
But as you say, you know.
Do lots of days out, lots of family days out, and then if we were to go away, I can't sit still, so we would sit around the pool. I mean, the whole family, it would last about half an hour, and they'd be like, what we going out to explore, what we're going to go see. And we do the same in the UK. But in the future, I mean, my son really wants to go to Disney World. And it comes up in all the advertisements. Me and John went to Florida when we were younger, and I'd love to see both my children back. But then it comes down to finances and everything else and time off.
Crazy,
it's gone sky high. So
it's almost like, from what I can see, it's being built into this exclusive almost club.
It's
unless you get a loan or a mortgage, or you're already in that level.
It's difficult. But we take advantage of what's in Britain. You know, we look for things that are on and we go out and do that. Very much when we go, it's like, what we're having for dinner, you know, what food are we going to eat? It's like the animals, to be honest. So I was like, right, so what, shall we have a snack by there, shall we pack lunch or whatever? And then, just enjoy what's here for now. But in the future, I'd definitely like to go further afield, but for now, just go back and enjoy the little things that are around us.
A little sidetrack. You spoke about home education before.
Yes.
So what you have to do with that? You know, how does it work with? How are you involved with all that?
So that came about from meeting a couple of ways. Some of my guests, so I don't call them customers. I'm a business, but I don't call them customers. I like guests because I'm very inclusive. It's very community. Animal teach community that I want to build, and I'm building. So a lot of my guests that come along, or a few of them are home educated. And then from there, I've gone to do like the children's birthday, and then they know a lot of the home educators within this local area. So I met with a local lady, a local mum, and we sat in Costa and we planned a 3-week course. And it was very well attended, it sold out. It was brilliant. At the end, I gave them a certificate, but they didn't just meet and greet the animals. So I'm very much a travelling college and school, as well as the animals. And what I did was, the first one was meeting the animals but learning about behaviours and defence mechanisms. The second one was all about anatomy and biology, and learning that aspect with the animals literally in front of them, and also creating models out of Play-Doh and labelling props and stuff I took along. And the final one, we built insect habitats from scratch for animals found around, or invertebrates found around the world. So that was very well attended, incredible feedback, and that was one of the things that come from a guest coming to quite a few workshops, did their birthday, said, shall we do something? I was like, go for it. We put on the diary, I went for it. And then the other one was, again, they were my guests, they come to quite a few things. I then do one-to-one sessions with them, so they are children who prefer smaller groups. I do that as well, for someone who doesn't want to be in a large group. So do smaller sessions, and they get something called little practice boxes. So it's like, I don't know, so it's wooden items, very, very, very theme based. So every month there's a new theme. They can build, create and make, and there's lessons involved and that sort of thing. And they said, one of the lads is a budding little reporter, so he interviewed me, and I did this interview and it went into their leaflet that gets distributed to all their users and all of their guests. So I was talking to the mum anyway, and she was like, oh, I've mentioned to Rada about you, so do you want to contact me? He was like, yeah, go for it. I said, I'll drop her a message and see what she wants to do. Yeah. So I did that, and now there's about, just done my first live session with them nationwide, so that's across the UK. Right. And I'm now booked in monthly until July or August to do an online session with the nationwide homemade community from meeting someone in Runcorn, and that's gone that next level. And then people from that group, our Facebook group, so another that reasonably local in Preston want me to go to them. Manchester want me to go to their home which I plan to. One second, my calendar's over there. It's pretty full, so that is my plan to fit in dates or and that sort of thing. So it come about from meeting people in our local community and then grasping it.
You giving, you getting out there and doing and giving, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you sort of like you do what you do. You clearly are. You're not in it for the money, you're in it for other things.
If anyone works with animals, they're not in it for the money. That is the thing, like the animals are looked after and people get to have a nice time, and that's what matters to me more than anything.
So I've written that down as well then, so obviously with Zach, I'll get some
Definitely.
So what does the overall thing? You mentioned about you've been through some CBT.
Yes.
And you've got lots of tools and stuff, and you're very self-aware about your limitations and your the opposite of limitation. But what does it mean? There's a lot of stigma around mental health as a term, even though we all have mental health, like we have physical health. So what does it mean to you, well-being and mental health? What does that mean to you?
I think it means taking care of yourself and going back to I'm very smiley, happy on the outside. Masking is something that happens quite often, but being able to find the tools and support that help you have a bit of a better moment or a better day, and to realise like sometimes it is in your head and it's how you're talking to yourself. It's not what other people are thinking. And quite rarely it's what other people are thinking. You know, it is what's in your own head. One of the things I do to keep myself positive is I don't watch the news and I don't put the news channel on my phone. Because I think there's so much doom and gloom. And you know what, the world can be a scary place. And there is a lot of horrible things going on locally, nationally, internationally. But I think the more you read and hear about it, it puts that pressure on yourself that nothing ever's going to get better.
You're not seeing, because I believe there's a lot more good that goes on in the world, but we don't see it. It's not shown to us all the time.
Definitely. So I don't have the news for that reason. It goes back to just. I know it is.
Do you watch the news?
No, we said last week, remember? We said we don't stop watching the news. Stop watching the news.
I was just checking, I couldn't remember. I wasn't going to fist bump you there. You weren't allowed.
It's all bad.
Yeah, totally.
So it's about taking care of yourself. Again, it goes back to that hard work to do it. When I was younger and I was very sensitive, very sensitive, took everything on board, and I took everything as criticism, everything hit me 100 miles an hour, and it was all my fault, it was all me in my head. And then I went to CBT because there was a point where I really struggled and my mental health took a massive downturn and I couldn't understand. Then I went to therapy, which I would recommend, definitely. And the biggest thing that I did there was alternative thinking, and to switch that switch in your brain, which mine's quite stubborn, and it took a lot of energy and that sort of thing to do it, to go from there making me feel this way to, well, how can I see it in a different light? And oh my goodness, that I just took on board massively. There's some days where there's that movie Inside Out, we watch it every night, the kids love it, and my daughter and son sing the theme tune. And I always just chuckle, just watching the emotions, because joy is at the forefront of the mind, and that is me. I'm joyful. If sadness comes along, joy gets annoyed and wants to push away, and that is me. I don't like being sad. No. I don't like having them emotions where I get upset. They have to be there, whether I like them or not. but I prefer being happy.
Yeah.
You know, when anger's there, and I'm laughing my head off at anger, and he's like, no dessert. I get fuming if I'm not eating cake, I'm annoyed. And that sort of thing. So it's just about taking care of yourself in a way that suits yourself.
Yeah.
You know, for me anyway, I don't particularly like going running, or I don't particularly like, I don't know, certain things. I'd rather sit there and watch an animal. I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
You know, if I go out and I get crisp and dip, and that's my thing, I get one of my favourite snacks.
What's that?
Crisp and dips. It's got to be like Doritos or Pringles.
Oh, right, okay,
and it's so expensive that I don't do it that much at the minute.
Yeah.
And then dip, I love Thousand Island dip, and sour cream and chive, and those little things. You know, just that's important to me. It goes back to enjoy the little things.
Yeah. Things that make you happy.
And what was your? I don't even know if there's a point asking you this, really, but a favourite thing for you to do. What's something that you love? That's one of your favourite things.
There's a theme there. I like animals, believe it or not.
You can't tell me, you really can't tell.
Something that I like to do. Oh my goodness. Animals isn't obvious. Yeah, that is me. But I love hanging out with my family.
Yeah.
So I love watching them grow up, and it's scary how quick the kids are growing up.
Yeah.
And I love when me, John, and we take the kids out somewhere new or do something, I just love spending time with the people that I love. So, you know, I don't have a massive amount of hobbies. Playing the piano is one of them when I get a chance.
I feel like I think you have to do it on mic, innit?
Yeah.
You have to do it on mic. You can't play the piano and sing.
I cancel with your calendar.
I know, so hopefully for next year. So just the little things, like enjoying my family a lot.
Yeah.
I love seeing them grow up, and I love they've got their own personalities. The kids, you know, my son he's gorgeous, and he comes out with the most funniest little things. And then my daughter is a little sassy pants. She's brilliant and she's clingy and she's puddly, but she's also very independent. And I thought I could be determined, but she's taking it to the next level. And then obviously going out for a little meal or somewhere when time allows. But that's, and then animals. Oh, I like a bit of gardening as well. I'm quite old at heart, to be honest. I'm like that, like a bit of gardening when I get a chance, play the piano or that sort of thing.
These are, I know what you mean when we go, it's like old at heart. Because we're brought up with this thinking, you don't do that until you're old. Because you're supposed to be filling your time with going out to the factory and then going shopping. But it's not actually old, is it? It's just stuff that are good for you and you enjoy doing it. So really, really, it's been really nice listening to all the...
Fantastic, isn't it? I've held
You've held a snake.
I know!
Unbelievable, I can't believe it. That's a win.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely one of the wins, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like you didn't expect to do that today.
No, I never thought I'd do it, because when you watch like I'm a Celebrity and you see them snakes moving about, it's like, wow. I was giving the creepy callies when I see a snake. I just start, I was just going to myself like, whoa,
really well, well, it's that part, getting to that part of the day now. So, I wanted to say about, if you can check out, obviously if you're watching this, however you're watching this, check out our YouTube channel. It's Good to Talk, but it's always ITSGD number 2 TK. It's Good to Tick. And you've got our Facebook group as well. We're building a community there. Check that out. We're on Twitter as well, although I don't really. I'm not.
Opens up doors, but I was saying.
Well, to be honest, I went on it yesterday. I hadn't been on it for weeks, and then somebody had tagged. I was like, oh right, I should probably use this one. But it's for social media. I don't like it really, apart from the
it's very real time. It's very quick.
So I have to spend enough time on it as it is.
So
with we've got the group on Thursday. On Friday we do the drop-in space here as well. That's from 12 till 6. Oh, is it the 10th of March?
And the 10th of March on Friday.
So we've got Jane from the council.
Yeah.
She is coming. She's community development officer. I think it might not be a full title, but she's here to help with funding. Yeah. So if you've got a group, a local organisation, or anything like that you want some funding advice for, come in 10 o'clock, between 10 o'clock and 12 this coming Friday, the 10th of March. It is definitely this Friday, the 10th of March. Yeah. And also Joachim as well is here. He's a really nice guy. Yeah. And he's regeneration officer. So if you know, there's lots of regeneration projects going on in Runcorn. You know about all the lots of stuff. So he's here, so you can bring him your ideas, and also you can come and have a chat with him about have a brew.
And I'll just add as well. This people, you should come to this on Friday, because it's very important. Because if you want about regenerate Runcorn and the fund and all that, make sure and come on. Don't start going on Facebook and complaining that you didn't know that this was going on. It's on. Get yourselves down. Yeah. And when things start, you see new buildings being built and start stuff happening and stuff like that. Don't start going, well, I didn't know that was happening. You should have known it was happening if you come to the thing on Friday. So get yourselves down. Don't be sitting at home. Get yourself down on Friday. There's a lot of information to get. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it's told you.
Serious.
So thank you so much, Amy.
You're very welcome.
It's been amazing. Really, really enjoyed it.
Lovely.
And hopefully you're going to come and sort out doing like a workshop or something.
Yeah, definitely.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. And Junior will definitely be here for that. Ellie's from Animal Teach. So I've been tagging them on the page. You can put it into Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
LinkedIn,
WhatsApp.
You're on them all,
so I'm Nathan, it's Junior, Naomi. Thanks to Ian, our studio audience, and Zach, our tech assistant as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. And if you don't need to go through it alone, whatever you're going through, okay, reach out and share the way, it really does help. And together we can stop the stigma, and we can change the world one person at a time. I've been meaning to say that at the end, I can't forget it every week. We can change the world, all we do is one person at a time.
There's writing on that wall over there.
No, I can't graffiti the wall, man.
No, I've got to stick something on it. I mean, right. I'm Banksy.
I'm going to tag it. Tag it. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. I'm going to leave Junior to play it out. Thank you.
We'll play out the theme song. There we go. This is an original song 8 years ago. You never know what you got till it's gone. The voice of the tight this morning, and the memory lingers on. You gotta be strong. Sometimes you feel you don't carry on. Life is supposed to be this way. I'll have tomorrow for today. You think you're dead and you got it made. Then all your dreams they start to fade. Back in vocals to the train station as well.
Back in here.